it's Andre and it's time for another Friday flying update. Hope you enjoyed the footage. That's right, it's Friday and the EFXtra footage was really fun to acquire. I'm impressed with this airplane. I'm really happy to see some of the attention to details and revision over the EFX Racer. The clip wings, that new power setup and running a larger prop and everything is quite nice. And the astute eye of you will notice, ta-da, the FPV canopy. And I can't wait to try this. I don't know if it's going to happen this weekend, but I'm excited. I've got it all built up and ready to go. And basically, it's a nice transmitter tray. Look at that, how strong that magnet is. And I discovered the Amway transmitter they recommend is actually very compatible with some of the Fat Shark hardware I have. So I've used the cable and everything and set it up. And it's a neat view. I'm really looking forward to it. So it's kind of a neat thing. And I mean, years ago, when I was asked about FPV with EFX Racer, I kind of snickered, but after flying the Arrow so much, I have to say, I think I'm ready for something like this. You know, the launches might be kind of interesting from an FPV point of view, but if it all goes well, I can't wait. So I do have to order some more 8x6 props. And I'm almost curious about a 9-inch prop, but I don't know. I will have to balance this one before I go back out. But I can't wait to try this just to see what it feels like. Because, I mean, I've flown the Arrow like crazy and had a good time with that. So really, really, really looking forward to that. Interesting phenomenon happened over the weekend while I was trying to capture video. The Q6, the Firefly Q6, and it's not the first time I've seen this from the Q6, doesn't like the cold, and that's why there's no footage for landing. I guess by the end of the flight, the camera got to the point where it was so cold the battery would just shut down. So I found a case online on Thingy Universe, and I'm going to try and print that off with the printer and just do a little shell to see if I can protect it. Very much like the run cam. It's got the bottom plate, but this one will go over top, and I think it's going to cover up all those vent holes and might give me what I'm looking for as far as getting the video to work. So it's interesting because a couple of years ago, I would never put, now you can't see it, but off screen is the EFX Racer. I would never put a camera on board. I was just, as a pilot, I was too insecure about how the aircraft will handle it. Now it's like, yeah, slap it and go. Let's see what happens. So it is an interesting basically evolution of my skills as a pilot, and I really like being able to get onboard footage. It makes a difference between that hack cam, which I can't stand, but it's really the only way I can acquire footage without, you know, trying to set up a tripod and hoping I get the shot. At least I know I'm tracking and panning and trying to get down close. It was rather interesting flying the Extra in the cold. I was very cognate. The weather was actually really nice, so we got away with it compared to one time when I flew the Racer and crashed it because my hands got so numb. But it was real fun flying an airplane. I can't wait to get back out there and fly it. Speaking of 3D, I'm almost there. I'm slowly working my way through this airplane, and I've learned a lot. This is the 3D Lab print Spitfire, and I did pick up some hinges, some CA hinges, so I will be able to finish it off, and I got to go in and do all the gaps. My favorite color, I have to say, is that green, because that transparency through, you know, seeing the ribs is really cool. The clear PLA is kind of neat. But I got some inconsistencies printing it. There's a few areas where I'm going to have to really secure. I'll probably smear some stuff over top of it just to make sure it stays together and clean. And I'm going to go over through all the scenes here, and I've learned how to, you know, prevent the parts from lifting off the bed. So next plane is going to look spectacular. And I kind of like those colors, so we'll see if I continue using the clear or not. It is kind of neat, but you know, if you can paint it, it'll probably look even better. But you know, I'm curious to see how they fly. I'm curious how they crash. Power spec wise, I think I'm going to start off with a 35 amp ESC and a 2830, 1100 kV motor running a 9x6 and a 2200 3S battery. So keeping it simple, very similar to what I use my FT scratch built, because I think it's going to weigh about the same. So, you know, so I've got to finish setting up the wings and tape up some of the gaps and manage some of that stuff. So I'm not expecting it to be perfect. It should fly. I mean, I've flown like crazier, more out of shape planes and work just fine. So it's been interesting, and you know, using CA and Kicker, and I'll probably use some Gorilla Glue and everything. So it's exciting that it's coming together, and I can't wait to do the next one to see how much better I get at, you know, tweaking the settings. A lot of this airplane was printed at 0.25 millimeter as far as resolution, so I am going to try the 0.2 and see if I can get rid of some of the odd, you know, I'm getting a few holes here and there, and I had some, you know, that's retraction settings, so it wasn't meant to be perfect, and I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but it's going to be very curious to see how these go and how they handle the abuse of flying compared to the foam board airplanes, obviously. So put that aside and keep going. I have to say, for me, one of the more impressive products this year that I've gotten my hands on has to be the little Inductrix, the little blade Inductrix from Horizon Hobby. This product has impressed the snot out of me, especially that camera. The FPV low light resolution off this camera compared to the Nano is phenomenal. I can fly into places I could never have flown into in the house, especially in the evening when it's dark. You know, and the run times have actually been pretty respectable. I've been using a lot of the, I've got a whole whack of the Turnigy 200s, 1S 200s, and they seem to run a pretty respectable time. I'm not burning around at Mach 2, and flying this thing in acro, you know, non-stabilized mode is terrifying. I mean, I just spiral through the air. I don't have enough, you know, manual dexterity skill sets to deal with that inside the house, so I'll stick to flying around in stabilized mode and have a good time with it. And over the week I've been flying this and using my FPV monitor, and I've actually set my son up with an external receiver on the big TV, and he is so impressed to it that we're going to start printing off a 3D frame and modify the Nano so he can get his hands on it and fly it. I'm going to pick up a used remote from a friend, and we're going to get in there, and he's going to learn to pilot that thing. And what James really liked about it was the ducted fans, because he liked how secure it felt and everything. So who knows, he might be hooking the child yet, you know, fingers crossed. Speaking of good products that work well with the Nano, or not the Nano, or the Inductrix, I have to say I'm impressed with the SKYRC Quattro micro battery charger. This thing is really doing the job for me. You know, we'll be able to, you know, hot swap batteries and just keep charging and charging and charging. You know, and I can set the milliamps between the 210s, the 220s, and 200s, and the 160s very effectively across the board and let it go, and it makes a good chime. I've added some leads on there so I don't have to worry about trying to jam the things into little MX ports. Plus, they don't sit up where I'm worried they're going to get knocked down or bent or anything like that. So I'm sure I one cable. I'd use the other two for battery testers and stuff like that. So really good product. I'll link this into Banggood, and so you can pick one up if you're interested. I think it was about $56 when I bought it. So again, good solid product. Feels like a good chat. It's got a good bit of weight to it and plugs in. You don't need a power supply, so which is a nice little feature. What else has been going on? Well, folks, the FliteFest WEST was announced, and if you're interested in being a volunteer, link up, let me know. I'm really excited about that event. We are starting to also plan to start the early foundational work on the Ohio one, and I'm not sure about a third one. Right now, we want to focus on event 1 and event 2, obviously, because there's a lot of stuff to plan, a lot of details. So right now, I think I'm looking at about 25 volunteers, which is super for the first week. I do have to put out a little newsletter to welcome those 25 super souls to the early adopters, and we'll start plotting out the scheduling and everything. So, again, if you're interested, and if you're going to go to FliteFest WEST, volunteer. So, this weekend, if everything goes well, I'm probably going to be out there with a couple planes, maybe do some FPV with that Racer, or the EFXtra, and I hope to have the Tundra out, and the Pawnee, probably the Sky, anything I can get out there that's going to do snow, I'm going to take it. I did pop a ski mount on the Tundra last weekend, so I'm probably going to try and put the floats on, because I haven't flown with those yet. That would be kind of fun, so there we go. It's been quite the week. I have a few technological challenges, but I'm not going to let them get me too down. So, happy Friday, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. See you at the field.